Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. And I am your host, as usual, Larry Cox. And it's great for me to welcome you to the show live tonight. Where, as usual, we're going to talk about some interesting things and see what kind of trouble we can get into. And I'm sure, as citizens of Rockdale County, we can get a lot of trouble if we want to. So, what I'm going to start out tonight is say hello to some people who have joined me in the chat. So Dan Burks, good evening. George Kelichek, good evening. Gail Davis Owens, good evening. William Campbell, good evening. Cheryl Moulton, good evening. Marie Withers, good evening. My chat over here overlay is trying to generate. Do not know what's going on with that, but who knows? The world of the internet doesn't want to cooperate, so I'm good with it. It is what it is. But we have a few people joined us tonight. Hey, let's go ahead and do this. Let's like and share the show. Danielle Munoz, great to see you this evening, Danielle. Join us on the Facebook side of the world. So I think Danny and Alex, just for you all know, they have moved the politics show over to some different platforms. So if you want to join them, Danny, you can throw out in the chat where people can watch you at now, because you're not going to watch the show on Facebook anymore. So I think they've already moved to Rumble and a few other things. So if Danny got 4 inches of snow today, that's crazy. So craziness. So Lisa Lancaster, welcome to the show. Guys, it's great to have you. Like I said, share and like the show so we can spread this message to our Rockdale County friends, so everybody can know what's going on in Rockdale County and what we as citizens can do to make things happen. So, guys, I want to start off by saying, Ben, the usual nonsense in Rockdale County. So I think, you guys, the Board of Education had a meeting this week and talked about funding and such. And of course, they're going to have to increase their spending. They've already forecasted that their revenue is going to increase. Now, these mysterious revenue increases that occur in Rockdale County without tax increases. Now, guys, that we all know that that's make-believe. That they play games and they don't, with the millage rate. The millage rate is nothing more than a calculated formula which sets the tax rate. Depending on the value of property, it's where the millage rate needs to be to either for your taxes to increase, stay the same, or decrease. So the millage rate is just a calculating formula. At the end of the day, let's just take hypothetical numbers. If in November of 23, I wrote a check to the county for $1,800 for my property taxes, then that was $1,800. Now let's just say this year in 2023 that I write a check for $2,300 for those property taxes. That's an increase of $500. Now, these characters are going to try to say you didn't get a tax increase because the millage rate rolled back or stayed the same. So if the amount that I paid in 2022 is more than the amount, if the amount I pay in 2023 is more than the amount I paid in 22, that's a tax increase. If the amount that I pay is the same, my taxes don't increase. If the amount that I pay decreases, then that would be a tax decrease. It is simple as that, guys. It is really that simple. But these guys want to make things so complicated in this county, and they want to try to manipulate you and trick you into believing these fantasy things that don't exist. So what we want you to know is this. In November of 23, if you pay more money in property taxes than you did in 2022, no matter what that millage rate percent is, you got a tax increase. and they're going to try to say this ridiculous statement. The reason that you paid more is because your property is valued at more. So there's where the increase is. The increase is because your property was more. Well, there's only two ways to actually, for anyone to benefit from that increased property value. You have to cash out somehow. Somehow you have to access those funds. There's only two means of accessing those funds. As you, a homeowner, it would be to sell your home for that increased value and to realize those extra funds. For the county, it's through taxing property. Because you can't just say, I'm gaining, the county can't say, we've gained this money through property tax assessment, because your property is worth more. There has to be a way, there's a way, the only way that the county can gain access to that increased property value is through taxes. Because property value just doesn't pay itself to someone. I said only two ways to recognize that gain. One, you as a homeowner sell your home and you recognize that increased value because you sell your home for more than it was worth when you bought it or 2 or 3 years ago. Secondly, the only way for the county, the city, and the Board of Education to recognize any gain from increased property value is through taxes. So when they say, well, you're not paying more taxes, your property is worth more, then can you say that's the biggest bunch of bullshit we've ever heard come out of anybody's mouth? Because that's exactly what that is. And there's no use to try to tone it down or call it anything bull crap, whatever. It's bullshit. And you've got to use those words because it's really what it is. Because these guys are trying to just make something up and pull it out of the rears is what they're doing, guys. Because, like I said, there's only two ways for you to recognize the increased value of a property tax assessment or home value increase. One, you, the homeowner, sells that property and recognizes that through a sale. Two, the Board of Education, Board of Commissioners, or a municipal government like the city of Conyers gains access to that through taxation. Those are the only ways that you can actually access those additional values of those homes. Only two ways. No other way to do it. So if anybody else tries to come up with some sort of fantasy thing, tell you something different, they're just not being honest with you. They are manipulating facts and they are lying to you. I'm not even going to be kind of saying it's misrepresentation or manipulating. They are just outright lying to you. That's what the city, the county, and the Board of Education continuously does. They lie to you, continuously lie to you. So guys, this is what we've got to do. We've got to realize that that these governments, they don't care. Let's say, okay, Alex has got a great point here. So he says, the funny thing is home values have gone down, but assessments have gone up. That's true. Property values are going down, but assessments are going up. And they have to continue to go up for these people to get additional funds. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other things, right? So I'm going to text somebody real quick because I still run a business and doing this. And this is, if you guys give me just 1 second. So, but these guys are just crazy. It is ridiculous. So, and there's another phenomenon going on right now. You've got these county governments and even the Board of Education and the city, they all talk about affordable housing. All these entities talk about affordable housing. Affordable housing is usually affordable rental housing is what it is. So why would these entities want us to shift to more affordable housing, which are rental properties? What would be the purpose and the goal of that? I'm going to tell you why they would want that. Because if we've got this affordable housing that belongs to corporations and more people become renters, then they're not property owners. So they don't actually have a say with the government about the property taxes, because it then becomes a part of doing business for those corporations which own those homes, and they just pass that property tax that they pay on as part of their rent toward the renters. So the renters don't recognize the tax increase. The business owners do, but the business owners just pass it on to the tenants. So it's a manipulative way of the Board of Educations, the county commissions, the municipalities, and I'm not just talking about Rockdale County here. I'm talking about government as a whole, because there was an article in the AJC the other day that talked about how property tax has become a crisis in the state of Georgia. So this same scam that the Rockdale County entities, that the Rockdale County Board of Education, the Rockdale County Board of Commission, and the City of Conyers, this same property assessment scam that these entities are pulling, this is being done across the state of Georgia. And we are now in a property tax crisis in the state of Georgia. You've got different counties that are wanting to assess, help citizens. You've got these different legislators who are introducing legislations to exempt seniors and exempt taxes at a certain time. And you are getting significant resistance from these entities, from the Board of Educations, the counties, and the municipalities, because they don't want to give up their cash cow. They've become accustomed to just digging and digging and digging deeper each year into your pockets and taxing you into oblivion. That's what's going on right now in this world. That is what's going on. That's going on. That is what's going on right now. So, guys, we are doing these things. We are fighting hard daily to inform you of what's going on here in Rockdale County. But what we've got to realize is this is not just a fight that we're fighting here in Rockdale County. It's a fight that we're fighting across the state of Georgia. And not just across the state of Georgia, but a fight that we're fighting in America. For the Board of Educations, they'll say it's for the kids, it's for education, it's for this. That is just complete nonsense and hogwash. We've got an inferior education system in the United States compared to the rest of the world. And it's not a money problem. It's a spending problem. It's an allocation problem. We spend more money on anything than anybody else, but our performance is not there. Our performance is lower tier. Our dollar number is high tier, and our performance and the return is low tier. And those are the realities of what we're talking about. So I wrote a few little notes here that I want to read that came to my mind. Money is not a problem. Spending is a problem. We have plenty of money to allocate for our needs, but our wants get in the way of our spending for priorities. So you hear that? So money isn't a problem. Spending is a problem. We have plenty of money to accommodate our needs, but our wants get in the way of spending for our priorities. And that's a reality, people. That's a reality of what we're looking at and what our problems are. Those are the reality of what's going on today. That's our problem. Our problem is that our politicians' wants exceed their ability to supply our needs. Their wants outweigh our needs. We have enough money for our needs, but we don't have enough money to accommodate their wants. That's what our problem is. Remember, we don't have a money problem. We have a spending problem. And it's high time we do something about it. So you ask, how in the world can we do something about it? We do something about it by upsetting the apple cart. Well, how do we upset that apple cart? We upset that apple cart by not sending the exact same people back to office every single time. I personally believe in term limits. I believe that 2 terms to anything is enough. You need to get in, do what you want, because after 2 terms, be honest, your ideas become stale, and you just recycle or just recycle the same things over and over again in a different package. So 2 terms for anybody is long enough. And if you don't show any real movement that first term, then 1 term is long enough. That's what we need to do. We really need to look at upsetting the apple cart, not sending the same people back over and over and over again, because they become entrenched in the system and they learn ways to manipulate the system. We have a chairman now who has served 2 terms as chair, 2 terms as post 1 commissioner. So this individual has served in the Rockdale County Commission in 24. At the end of 24, it will be 16 years. That's ample time to accomplish whatever you wanted to accomplish. So what that person's actually looking at is 4 more years in a retirement. But the damage that Chairman Nesbitt can do in 4 more years may be something we can't turn the clock back on. Then you've got Commissioner Sherry Washington, who has never met a state, who has never been to a state and issued an attorney's license that she's not had it taken away for life. And that's a reality. So do we really want to trust the future of our county to an individual who can't even keep the license for the profession that they went to school and studied for? They're supposed to be an expert in that field. You're supposed to be an expert in the field of law, and you can't even keep the license that you need to practice the thing that you're supposed to be an expert in. So why would we want that individual to maintain a seat on the Board of Commission? We shouldn't, and we can't moving forward. We have to remove that individual from office. So guys, we've got this election coming up. Then we've got a guy who's been sheriff he's been sheriff for 3 terms now. And I don't see crime getting better in Rockdale County. I don't see staffing with the sheriff's department getting better in Rockdale County. I see it on the decline. I see crime on the increase. So there also, we need a change. So there are 3 particular positions that are on the ballot here in 2024 that the voters of Rockdale County can initiate change through not sending those incumbents back to office. This past week on Thursday, Corey Emmerich, who is running for sheriff, had an organizational meeting for his campaign. I attended. I was interested to see, because I told people that Corey's were the direction that I'm going to go and support for sheriff this year, because we need a change in Rockdale County. But I wanted to see what was up with his campaign. Wanted to see if he was serious. Wanted to see if he had a plan. Wanted to see if he was organized. This is what I saw at the Hamrick for sheriff organizational meeting. You have a campaign that is very organized. You have a campaign that has a strategy. They have a plan. You have a campaign that has a campaign staff that's dedicated to the individual that's running for office. And you have a candidate who himself is dedicated for a 13-month run for that sheriff's office. That's what I came out of that meeting with when I went to that organizational meeting for the Hamrick for Rockdale Sheriff campaign. I think that this individual is preparing himself, preparing his campaign. He's dedicated. The campaign staff is dedicated, and I look for them to run a really good race. Secondly, we have the chairman's race, and we have Modessa Ahmad running for County Commission chairman. He has stated that he's going to run. He stated that he's against high density housing, stated he's for the 5 commissioners. So, you know what? Oz Nesbitt has been there long enough, and it's time that he goes. So I want to share something with you and just show you. Mr. Ahmad will be having a campaign kickoff Monday the 24th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at his campaign headquarters at 1071 Railroad Street. I recommend you go to the campaign kickoff, get some material, ask some questions. You don't have to commit to a support Modessa Ahmad right now, but what you can do is go find out what this candidate's about and what he intends to do differently for Rockdale County. Like I said again, Monday, April the 24th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the campaign headquarters at 1071 Railroad Street, Conyers, Georgia. You can go to this Eventbrite site and you can RSVP that you're going to come so that they can know, because I think they'll probably have refreshments and that kind of such available. So those are things that we can do as citizens of Rockdale County to prepare ourselves and to let people know what we want to do as citizens of Rockdale County to make life better in this county. We can make life better for ourselves by supporting different people for office. We can do this by challenging those in charge and questioning what their intent is on us. Well, it's just like I saw something this week in the paper about the city of Conyers has got 286 acres of excess property out at the horse park across the road from Hawthorne Park next to the aquarium stuff. It's like 286 acres. And they mentioned that it is currently zoned agriculture residential. Currently zoned. I would bet you a bottom dollar that within the next 6 months, it will be zoned differently than agricultural residential. So I would say that that's going to get a rezoning application, and we're going to see some townhomes or high density housing put in over there, because that's the trend right now, folks. That's how these municipalities, these counties, these BOEs, that's how they're raising funds right now, because they want corporations to own property and homes and townhomes and apartments, so that because they don't come to the Board of Commission and education meetings and city council meetings complaining and crying about tax increases, because all they do is they send you a notice saying your rent's going up $200 this year. That's how they do it. It's no sweat off their back. You're just going to, if you're a renter, you're getting a $200 increase in rent. Then you complain about the rent going up when the underlying problem is actually another problem. Guys, we've got to do some things, right? I'm telling you right now, that's ridiculous. We've just got to do the right things. Lisa Lancaster had a story to tell you. It's about the gambling thing, right? So when I was in West Virginia, I fought casino gaming, and because we did a lot of research on it, and we saw that anywhere casino gambling came, you had 3 things that followed. You had drug trafficking, you had sex trafficking, and just in general increasing crime. That's just reality of it. That's what you have. You have drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and just a general increase in crime anywhere that you introduce casino gambling or gaming into a community. So the president of the Fraternal Order of Police addressed the Finance Committee. He addressed the Judiciary Committee at a legislative hearing that they had one evening in Charleston, West Virginia. And on a stack of Bibles, this is what this moron said. He said, but he was the greatest advocate against it, even though he didn't intend to. He said that the Fraternal Order of Police supported the passing of casino gaming in the state of West Virginia because they would have to hire more police officers to handle the increased crime that would come along with that. I don't think he meant to say that. He meant to say something different, but that came out of his mouth. He said that the Fraternal Order of Police supported that legislation because it meant that they would have to increase the number of police officers that would be hired in the state because of the increased crime rate that would follow. And that's a reality. So we've got to really be cautious of what we wish for. I'm not a fan of the gambling thing because I think it brings more bad than good. But yeah, you get some money out of it, but just because we get money out of something doesn't mean that it's the best thing to do. The county raises your taxes. They get a lot of money, but is it the best things to do? That's just my opinion. That's just what I believe. So, it's just, my opinion about it. I won't vote for casino gambling, and I'll actually lobby against it. Just something that apparently we disagree on, but it's just, my thing. I've fought against it my whole life. I don't see it as a positive. I see it as a plus. And in those, on Indian reservations and such, it may be a little different, but, when you do what we do with gambling and gaming, I just don't see it as a positive. That's just my opinion on it. But let's get back to these characters and clowns that we're dealing with in Rockdale County. We can make a difference. We can elect different people. You have 5 of 7 Board of Education members that will be up for re-election in 2024. Wills Boxdale is resigning as soon as a temporary replacement is put in place. But you will have 5 positions that will be available. You will be available to vote for the Board of Education. I encourage you to find candidates that will advocate change for Rockdale County at that level, and you vote for those individuals. I challenge you to vote for someone different for the Board of Commission, Post 1, and Chairman. I actually encourage we already have increased drug traffic, and if we pass gaming and gambling and you bring it to Rockdale County, it'll even double more than it is now. So I'm not going to support that. I'm going to fight against that every bit of the way. So, but guys, we've got to do things differently in Rockdale County, and we need to change our politicians like we do diapers on a baby. That's what we need to do. Just because we elect them once doesn't mean we have to elect them twice. I am actually going to challenge conservative voters in Rockdale County to cross over and vote in the Democrat May primary. You can vote for whoever you want in the March presidential primary. You can vote for whoever you want in the general election in November because everybody's on the ballot. But in May, you will not have a local candidate running as a Republican. You will only have Democrats on a Democrat primary ballot. If you as a Rockdale County voter do not participate in the Rockdale County Democrat primary, you will not have a voice locally. I encourage every Republican, every conservative voter in Rockdale County to vote in the May Democrat primary. Let your voice be heard, because if you do that and you vote against incumbents, you will change the trajectory of Rockdale County. We will unseat every incumbent in office, and we will set Rockdale County on a path of realignment and reset. And that's what needs to happen to Rockdale County. Rockdale County needs a reset, and we need a reset by pushing the old out and bringing the new in. And if the new doesn't do any better, then in 4 years, we do the exact same thing. We vote against incumbents. Against incumbents, and we vote in the newbies. And we can do that until we create a cycle of change in Rockdale County. So I encourage you, the citizens of Rockdale County, get involved, listen to what's going on, pick a side. For God's sake, pick a side. Pick the side of good. Pick the side of the citizens of Rockdale County. Don't pick the side of complacent, irrational, misspending government that we have now. Pick the side of the citizens, of the seniors, of those who are the most vulnerable, because that's who we need to look after. We need to look after the most vulnerable in our society, and that's not what this government's doing. That's not what the Board of Education's doing. It's not what the Board of Commission's doing, and it's not what the City of Conyers is doing. They're looking out after their general budget. They're looking out how to increase their revenue, and they do that on your backs, the citizens of Rockdale County. I've went on enough tonight. I've talked up and up and up and up. I'm going to be back next Sunday, and we're going to talk more. And we're going to spread this word about how you can vote in the May primary against incumbents, and we can make a difference. Good day, everybody. Good day, good day, good day. And until we meet again next Sunday, thank you and good night.